Hey everyone, Lou here. You know what I absolutely love? Fan art. You know what else I love? Fanfics. You know what's the best of both worlds, thus making it my guilty pleasure automatically? Doujinshi! I did a poll on my Twitter page a while ago asking whether you guys wanted to see me talk about Jojinshi. You guys voted by over 90%, so looks like this video's happening. Roll the intro, and let's get started. Now you're asking yourself, what's a doujinshi? It's essentially a fan-made manga. Some doujins are free online via Twitter or Pixiv, but most are published alongside the real manga, and they're even sold at Japanese bookstores. How legal is that to do? I have no idea, but the copyright system in Japan is pretty damn weird. Kinda makes you wish YouTube had that, doesn't it? Anyway, while many think doujins are specifically made for ships or just straight up spicy stuff, not all doujins are 18 plus like that. There's lighthearted ones just for extra bits of fluff or angst to an already great series, like a My Hero Academia doujinshi could be about Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki entering a cooking contest, and it'll play out like an actual bonus chapter of My Hero Academia. No shipping involved, just the fun stuff. Though for this video there are some rules here. I will not be talking about ships that involve pedophilia, incest, bestiality, or abuse. All these topics are disgusting to me and not something that should be romanticized with shoujo sparkles, period. Second, because I know that ship wars are intense, I had you guys vote on Twitter for the ships you're okay with me talking about. Ships can be pretty wild as a subject on the internet, so I wanted to make sure it's something everyone's kinda cool with. With that said, let's discuss the ships for each fandom and review some doujins. Now, Jojos is a series where I have a lot of ships. Some are pretty obvious like Jonathan and Arena, but others I know are a bit out of the box like Jotaro and Kakyoin. You guys were pretty split on this one, so I'll do both. First up is Jotaro and Kakyoin, my personal OTP for Jojos. Happy Subuniru by Q. This is a Jojos doujin I bought from Mandarake, which is kind of like a Japanese Amazon, by the way. Now this was completely in Japanese, so I had to rely on the camera translating feature on Google Translate to figure out what the fuck was going on with this one. I mean, it's not the best because I'm pretty sure Kakyoin didn't mention anything about recovering mayonnaise, but it gave the biggest gist ever, at least. So, judging by a shit translation from an AI and using the art and facial expressions as an idea of what's going on, Kakyoin managed to survive at the end of part 3 and is meeting up with Jotaro for part 4. Then, I guess Jotaro and Kakyoin have like a PTSD thing, which makes their relationship a little rocky. So Kakyoin goes to meet with Rohan to ask him to use Heaven's Door to temporarily erase their trauma, I think. However, Rohan purposefully fucks up because he's Rohan Kishibe, and the two of them end up with temporary amnesia until Rohan fixes it. Kakyoin only realizes he has feelings for Jotaro because of this, so he confesses, and now part 4 is Jotaro chilling with his boyfriend. Don't worry, by the way, Jotaro isn't cheating on his mystery wife here. According to my shitty translation, Jotaro mentions that he's not with her anymore, which is good because it's super hypocritical for Jotaro to cheat on his wife. The story was pretty reasonable. I'm not kidding, by the way, when I've had roleplays on Tumblr of a very similar situation of Kakyoin and Jotaro reuniting in part 4 only to fall in love and stuff. Just not the memory loss stuff, though, not gonna lie, this is getting my angst gears turning. The art was alright. The cover is incredible, and I really love this design for a part 4 Kakyoin. However, sometimes some pages were a little wonky, and Jotaro doesn't really look like himself in some shots. Other than that, it was a cute doujin, I say. It's not bad. Unfortunately, this one you can't really find anywhere else online according to my research. This was a Mandarake exclusive and it's currently sold out. But definitely pick it up when it's back again and you're buying another figure. It's like $2 and Mandarake charges quite a lot for shipping, so I don't really recommend it. You buy it on its own. Kinda just buy it if you're already buying a figure from there. If any of you do translate it somehow, please let me know down below and it'll be a pinned comment. Clamp, famous for Cardcaptor Sakura and the character designs for Code Geass, used to be a Doujinshi team. One of their biggest ships in this, by the way, was Jotaro and Kakyoin. I'm not kidding, by the way, when I say they shipped these two so damn much that when they became a professional manga publishing company, their LGBT ships all looked like Jotaro and Kakyoin. Like, seriously, this is literally just them. So, in comes Clamp in Wonderland. Now, this was an anthology of all their doujinshis, but the specific one I want to talk about is the Egg Child. That's right, the best non-canon Joestar, Jota Kujo. This one is about Jotaro and Kakyoin getting married about a year after the events of Part 3. I don't know where Kakyoin's scars went, but I guess they just went away. As a gift for being so damn in love, the universe, or possibly a stand, grants them an egg, and in that egg is quite literally the love child of Jotaro and Kakyoin named Jota Kujo. He kinda just pops out to be like 1 year old right out of the egg, and even develops a stand which Jotaro named after a dish soap called Charmy Green because he's Jotaro. Jump to 10 years later, where Jota aged super fast for some reason, so he's 16 now and he's here in Morio too. We see a Part 4 Kakyoin, which is definitely another design I love for him, probably one of my favorites. Let me just say that I am living for everyone drawing Part 4 Kakyoin. Like, every design is just so wonderful and really captures his character. Jota is kind of like an even mix of his parents, both in personality and in appearance. But he doesn't like his dad because Jotaro and I guess Clamp could see into the future with Part 6. It ends with him grumpy, and that's kind of it, to be honest. Now, this is Clamp, so the art style here is lovely, but the highlight of this is Jota. I just love how weird this kid is. Like, we should all stan Jota, though it does suck that it doesn't show much of the romance here. I just wanted maybe a smooch or something. Now, I'm only scratching the surface, mostly because Jotaro and Kakyoin doujins get really spicy really fast, or so weird that I can't show them on YouTube. Like, there's this one where Jotaro is a horse and it goes exactly where you think it is. And then there's this one where Kakyoin turns into a child and that also goes exactly where you think it is. It's just really weird stuff, and some of it's kind of gross, not gonna lie. Though when they're not banging each other into a new dimension, Kakyoin and Jotaro doujins are actually pretty wholesome, as long as you avoid stuff like the yandere Jotaro, because that's just a really weird thing. Next one you guys were split on were Giorno and Mista. Now, yes, Giorno is 16 by the end of Part 5 and Mista is 18, so there's a slight concern of age, but then again, it is extremely common for a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old to date each other in high school, so maybe I'm just being sensitive here? Who knows? Now, I do have to warn that this artist is not perfect, by the way. They do have some alarming ships and artwork, but outside the cause of concern, her art is absolutely gorgeous. Zakiko is an amazing Giorno and Mista doujin writer, to a point where the banging is actually disappointing, because their doujins genuinely do not need it. Like, cut out the banging and this deserves to be more canon than the George Joestar novel. Particularly, there's this one I enjoyed about Giorno experiencing PTSD and his stand starts acting up because of it, so Mista has been getting closer with Giorno to help him. The two share passionate stuff, and it all culminates with Giorno feeling guilty about the events of Part 5 and believing he's not worthy of living due to his survivor's guilt, an already non-existent sense of self-worth. It's called Dangai, I think, and it's told in 2 parts. Only thing I didn't really care for was honestly the banging, because I mean they're still teens, so it's kinda gross. Honestly, if you cut that out, this doujin is just absolutely incredible. It's just really amazing to see someone finally understand Giorno is an extremely complex character. Like, this one was just really great. Her art style is also gorgeous, by the way. The way they draw Giorno is just lovely. Not gonna lie, her art style reminds me a lot of 70s Bishonen manga because of how pretty Giorno looks. Giorno and Mista don't really have a lot of doujins that are actually good, so Zakiko's are the only ones worth mentioning. Overall, JoJo doujins are pretty good when they're not about gross shit like incest or animals for some reason. Tip for JoJo fanfic and comic artists out there:
if they have the star, then they shouldn't bang. Period.
Other than that, I really like them. This series has some pretty bad ship wars, my gosh. Then again, there's a lot of really great ships here in Final Fantasy. I put up a poll once again and you guys voted for Cloud and Tifa. Sorry Cloud and Aerith shippers, trust me, I ship them both equally. Also, please no ship wars in the comments. Nobody wants a ship war. Hey, so fun fact about typing Tifa and Doujinshi in the same sentence on Google. Yeah, 90% of it is Tifa showing her, assets, if you catch my drift. So a lot of people want to bang Tifa. Like, I did not expect this much thirst. I mean, I did, but not to that level. And this is coming from someone who's ridiculously thirsty for Sephiroth. Yeah, so finding Doujinshi for Cloud and Tifa together proved to be surprisingly difficult because everyone else wants to write themselves banging Tifa that all the Cloud and Tifa doujins kinda got lost to time in the 22 years. However, I found some. Love Monsters by Bari Bari Mosuzoku was actually a really interesting read. It takes place after Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, because Denzel is here and Cloud doesn't have Geostigma anymore, and Tifa is wondering if she's rough and a terrible person because of how many fights she's got into and how many people she's hurt from them. It gets to a point where she wonders if she can even play something as delicate as a piano. Cloud tells her that she's still amazing, and that's kinda it for a bit. We also get some wonderful anthologies and we see Denzel! I just really love the idea of Cloud and Tifa adopting Denzel and Marlene. Like, please give me that wholesome family dynamic. Heavy Gauge is an alright one. Basically, it takes place pretty shortly after Final Fantasy VII, and Sid kind of reminds Cloud of everything that he goes through, so he goes to Aerith's church to clear his head, or something, I guess. Tifa follows him and is kind of jealous of Aerith's impression on Cloud, which isn't really a portrayal I like because I prefer them being best friends, but she mentally brushes off that jealousy to thank Aerith for her kindness, though she feels like her jealousy is what got Aerith killed, which I don't know how. To a point where she starts crying and Cloud asks if she's alright, so she says yeah, but Cloud and Tifa leave together where the slow burn begins. The end. The art style of this one was really nice, but like, I couldn't really recognize Tifa or Aerith. They kind of look like Kingdom Hearts OCs more than Tifa and Aerith, which I guess now that I think about it, Tifa and Aerith are Kingdom Hearts OCs. Other than that, that's the only Tifa and Cloud doujinshi that I could find, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, there are a lot, but all of them center around Cloud using his Buster Sword, if you catch my drift. Not bad though, I like these doujinshi. They were pretty fluffy, and I live for that fluff next to an overwhelming amount of angst. This was the final one you guys voted for, so let's check out some Vocaloid doujins. Okay, so first off, a lot of people want to bang Miku here. It's gross to be honest, because Miku is 16 according to Krypton, so ew. Then again, Miku can quite literally be whatever you want her to be, so I can't really complain about people banging Miku when she's literally just a design for people to do whatever they want with. Like, there are some songs where Miku is exclusively written as being over the age of 18, like E Aso and 15 years pursuing a cute boy. Now, I did a poll asking what ships you guys were okay to see, and you guys picked a ship. Well, it was Rin and Miku, which is a ship I like not nearly as much as I like Teto and Miku, but I'm never gonna find anything for those two because I'm the only person alive on this planet who ships Miku and Teto, so... And I can't really find any Kaito and Meiko stuff, which is sad because Kaito and Meiko are my Vocaloid OTP. Anyway, the only one really worth mentioning is Haney Box by Sekihara Umina. Miku is a popular and established idol, while Rin is an idol in training. They live together and are already dating, according to the first page of the Doujinshi. It starts off pretty cute, with Rin and Miku being super lovey-dovey already. Rin hears Miku sing about a boy she's in love with, so she gets pretty jealous and insecure, but Miku assures her that it's just a song for show, and she only ever loves Rin. Then they bang, for a while by the way, and then it gets super cute and fluffy again, where they talk about how much they love each other. If it was just them being like super cute and fluffy, I would say this is a really cute doujinshi. I mean, there's banging, but let's be honest, you can just skip it. However, this really wanted to end on a weird note. Luca moves in as their neighbor, and let's just say she gets a little too excited hearing her neighbors getting it on. I mean, to me that's kind of creepy, having your neighbors secretly choke their chicken to you, but that's just me. That's really the only one I thought was worth mentioning, mostly because their ship was super lovey-dovey and cute, and the art style was just really nice. But that's kinda it in the ship department for me, because I don't ship Miku and Luca, so I'm not gonna dive into the rabbit hole of Miku and Luca content, and it is disappointing that the only Rin and Miku content I could find was just them banging into the stratosphere. Though here's a super interesting thing about Vocaloid and Doujinshi. A lot of Vocaloid songs have official Doujinshi for them. There's of course Hitoshi Tsukupi, who has his incredible artist Suzunosuke do doujinshi for several of his songs. Though unfortunately these doujinshi are pretty expensive and have a limited release, which is only for manga conventions in Japan. Though there are a few I was able to read online, but let me tell you guys that I desperately want to read the doujinshi for Alice in New York. My favorite that I was able to read was the prequel doujinshi for Synchronicity, which was incredibly difficult for me to find. It basically explains more of Len's character and how he discovered he had a twin sister, along with his mother's reaction to it all, who had lost her daughter, since she was stolen from birth. The art is a little rough though, because it looks like a bunch of sketches, but I still love it. Of course, to end this Vocaloid section off, there is Hatsune Mix, which is a mainstream doujinshi written and drawn by the official character designer for Hatsune Miku herself, Kei. It's kind of self-contained comedy bits from what I read of it every time I saw it at my local bookstore. It wasn't super special, but it was pretty cute, and I do recommend it, especially when it's the easiest to obtain doujinshi out of everything else in this video, aside from the Jojos one I bought. That would be it for this video. Let me know down below what you think of doujinshi. Is there one you recommend, or are there any out there that you're planning to read yourself? Let me know down below.